Congratulations, you're dead. Not completely dead, not the peaceful kind, not the kind where people cry, lower you into the ground, say a few nice things, and then slowly forget your birthday. No. You wake up under a bridge at 3:17 in the morning with dirt in your mouth, blood on your shirt, and a heartbeat that is no longer there. At first, you think you're having a panic attack. You sit up too fast, your head hits the concrete above you. It should hurt. It doesn't. You touch your chest. Nothing. No pulse, no breath, no warm air leaving your mouth in the cold. Just silence. Then you hear something. A rat. Not next to you. Across the canal, under a dumpster, scratching a piece of plastic. You hear its claws. You hear its teeth. You hear the tiny, frantic engine of its heart. That is when you start to panic. You stumble out from under the bridge and into the street. The city is empty in that strange way cities get right before sunrise. Wet pavement, flickering traffic lights, a taxi moving slowly through an intersection with no passengers inside. You catch your reflection in a shop window. Except you don't. The glass shows the street behind you, the traffic light, the taxi, the neon sign from the liquor store across the road. But not you. You step closer. Still nothing. You lift your hand. The window shows nothing. That is when you remember the man from the alley, the one who asked for a cigarette, the one with the calm voice, the one who smiled too wide. You remember his hand on your shoulder. You remember teeth. You remember the smell of rain and garbage and your own blood. Then nothing, and now this. You run home because home is where people go when reality stops making sense. You reach your apartment building just before dawn. The lobby camera tracks you as you walk in. But when you look at the little black dome in the ceiling, you already know it didn't see you. You take the stairs because the elevator has mirrors. 5 floors. You don't get tired. You don't breathe harder. Your legs don't burn. You reach your door and your hands are shaking so badly you drop the keys twice. Inside, everything is exactly how you left it. Half-empty water bottle on the desk, laptop open, dirty plate beside the sink, shoes by the door, a normal life frozen mid-sentence. You close the curtains, then you sit on the floor until the sun comes up. And that's when you learn the first rule. It burns. The first thin line of morning slips through the gap in your curtains and touches your wrist. Your skin smokes. You scream and fall backward, knocking over the coffee table. The pain is instant, bright, clean, like someone pressed a hot iron directly into your nerves. You crawl across the floor, grab the curtains, and yank them shut so hard the rod tears out of the wall. Now your apartment is dark. Good, you're safe. But there's a problem. You have a job. At 8:42, your phone starts ringing. It's your manager. You stare at the screen while it buzzes against the floor. Then again. Then a message. Are you coming in? Then another one. Big meeting today. We need you. You almost laugh. You're lying on the floor of your apartment with smoke rising from your wrist because a sunbeam touched you. And Craig from regional sales needs the quarterly numbers. You type back, sick today. Easy. Handled. Except it isn't handled because tomorrow comes and the sun comes with it. So you call in sick again. Then again. By Friday, Craig wants a doctor's note. That's the problem. Because doctors like pulse. Doctors like blood pressure. You don't have any of those things anymore. So you quit. You send a short email. Due to personal circumstances, I need to resign effective immediately. Craig replies in 6 minutes. Can we jump on a quick call? You turn your phone off. Good. But now there is the other thing. The hunger. At first you try to ignore it. You tell yourself it is psychological, trauma, shock, some kind of extreme anemia. You drink water. It tastes like nothing. You eat bread. It turns to wet cardboard in your mouth. You try coffee. You loved coffee. You used to spend $7 on coffee and pretend that was normal. Now it tastes like burnt dirt. You spit it into the sink. Then you cut your fingers on the mug. A tiny line of blood appears, one red bead, and the whole world changes. The apartment disappears. The unpaid bills disappear. The fear disappears. There's only that drop. You bring your finger to your mouth before you even decide to. And for 2 seconds, everything is perfect. Warmth spreads through your chest. Not emotional warmth, real warmth. The first warmth you felt since you woke up under the bridge. Your vision sharpens. The room brightens. You can hear the pipes in the walls, the neighbor's television, a baby crying 3 floors below, a couple arguing across the street behind double glazing. You understand something very simple. You are hungry. Not hungry like you missed lunch, hungry like your body has been replaced by a hole. So you try to be ethical about it. That is your first mistake. You Google blood banks. Then you remember you cannot go outside during the day. So you wait. At night, you put on a hoodie, sunglasses, gloves, and a mask. You look ridiculous, like a celebrity trying not to be seen at an airport. You walk to the nearest hospital. The emergency entrance glows white and blue. People come and go. Nurses smoke near the ambulance bay. A security guard watches videos on his phone. You stand across the street and stare. There is blood in that building, bags of it. Cleaned, labeled, refrigerated. A civilized solution. You don't have to hurt anyone. You just have to steal medical supplies from a hospital. Not ideal, but better than murder. So you go back around. The lock on the service door should stop you. It doesn't. You barely touch it, and the metal bends in your hand. You freeze, then you look around. Nobody saw. Good. Inside, the fluorescent lights hurt your eyes. Not sunlight, but close enough to be annoying. Everything smells like antiseptic, plastic, and fear. You find the blood storage room after 22 minutes. O negative, A positive. Bags and bags and bags. You grab 6, then 12, then 20. You stuff them into your backpack like a man robbing a bank in the saddest possible way. You get home before sunrise. You drink the first bag over the kitchen sink. Cold, flat, metallic, disgusting. Perfect. You drink the second one slower, then the third. By the fourth, your hand stops shaking. By the sixth, the burn on your wrist begins to heal. You laugh. Actually laugh. For the first time in days, you found a system. You can survive. No people, no violence, no monster, just logistics. But there's a problem. Hospitals count blood. The next night you go back, security is heavier. The back door has been replaced. There are cameras now, 2 guards instead of 1. Someone noticed. Of course they noticed. 20 missing blood bags isn't exactly a rounding error. So you try butcher shops, animal blood, pigs, cows, lambs. You buy it in plastic tubs from a man who does not ask many questions because you pay cash and look like someone who should not be asked many questions. It works, technically, but it tastes wrong. It keeps you alive, but barely. You become weak, irritable, cold in a way that has nothing to do with temperature. Your skin turns gray. Your eyes sink deeper. You stop looking human. So you upgrade. You find online forums, not normal forums. The kind of forums that still look like they were built in 2006 by people who do not want to be found. At first, it looks like nonsense. Goth roleplay, blood fetish people, conspiracy weirdos, teenagers, pretending. Then one account messages you. New? You don't reply. Another message. You stole from St. Mark's Hospital. You stare at the screen. A third message. Relax. Everyone does something stupid in their first week. The username is Mara. She tells you to meet her at 2 a.m. in the basement of an old cinema that closed 15 years ago. You should not go, obviously. You go. The cinema smells like dust, mildew, and old popcorn trapped in the walls. The posters are still up. Action movies from a decade ago. Comedies nobody remembers. A superhero sequel that made $1 billion and left no cultural footprint whatsoever. Mara is waiting in Theater 4. She looks 28, maybe 30, maybe 200. It's hard to tell. She has short black hair, a leather coat, and the calm expression of someone who has already watched you make every mistake you're about to make. You're starving, she says. You ask what she is. She smiles. What do you think? She explains the rules. Not the movie rules, the real ones. You can go out during the day if you are fully covered, but one mistake can destroy you. You don't need to sleep in a coffin. That part is stupid. You do need darkness. You do need blood. Fresh is better. Willing is safest. Hospitals are watched. Animals are survival food. Mirrors are useless. Cameras are complicated. Old cameras see you. Digital ones sometimes don't. Phones are unpredictable. Security systems depend on the sensor. Very annoying, very practical, very real. Then she gives you a bottle. Glass, warm, dark. You drink before asking where it came from. That is your second mistake. The warmth hits you like memory. Color returns to the world. The torn red seats of the cinema become deeper. The gold trim on the walls glows. You can hear footsteps on the street above. You can smell rain before it starts falling. You ask where she got it. She says, donors. You ask if they know. She says, some do. That answer should bother you more than it does. But you are full now. Immorality is easier on a full stomach. Mara takes you into the network. Not a coven, not some dramatic council with candles and robes. It's basically a supply chain. There are vampires who manage donors, vampires who handle property, vampires who run nightclubs, vampires who own funeral homes, vampires who work in archives because nobody questions a pale person in a basement. Everyone has a role. You're new, so your role is simple. Stay quiet. Do what Mara says. Don't make the news. Do not create bodies. Do not turn anyone. That last one is repeated twice. You ask why. Mara looks at you for a long second. Because most people wake up hungry and stupid. Fair. For a while, things improve. You move into a basement apartment owned by someone named Victor, who apparently bought half the block in 1979 and never sold it. No windows, thick walls, cash rent, no questions. You get a night job at a warehouse through another vampire's logistics company. You don't need the money as badly now, but you need a reason to exist on paper. Paper matters. That is the boring part nobody puts in vampire movies. Documents, bank accounts, leases, tax records, dental appointments you can never attend, birthdays that keep happening, passport photos that do not work properly, a face that does not age. At first, you think immortality means escaping time. Nope. It means becoming an administrative problem. After 5 years, people ask why you look the same. After 10, they notice. After 15, they remember. So the older ones rotate. New cities, new names, new accents, new signatures. New stories about parents, childhood, schools, jobs, things they never did, and places they barely remember. Victor has been a widower, a nephew, a private collector, a retired architect, and once, briefly, a jazz pianist in New Orleans. He cannot play piano. Nobody checked. You start learning. You learn to feed without killing. You learn to listen for heart rhythm. You learn which streets have cameras and which cameras matter. You learn that drunk people are dangerous because they forget things wrong. You learn that lonely people are more dangerous because they remember everything. You learn that blood tastes different depending on fear. You pretend that does not interest you. Then one night, you see Emma. You knew her before the bridge, before Mara, before the basement apartment and the warm bottles and the rules. She is sitting outside a bar with 3 friends, laughing at something on her phone. You stop walking. You should keep going. You don't. She looks older. Not old, just slightly more real. Tiny lines near her eyes, shorter hair, a ring on her finger. Of course, life continued. That feels rude somehow. She looks up. For a half second, she sees you. Really sees you. Her smile disappears. You turn away too quickly. That is the third mistake. Your phone buzzes 2 hours later. Unknown number. Is this really you? You stare at it for a long time. You delete it. Another message. I thought you died. You delete that one too. Then a photo arrives. It is you, from across the street. Blurry, hood up, face half shadowed, but definitely you. You should take it to Mara. You don't. Instead, you reply, "Don't contact me again." 3 dots. Then, "I went to your funeral." That one gets through, because you did have a funeral. You later find out Mara arranged it. Dental records, a burned body, a closed casket, a grieving mother, a story clean enough for everyone to move on. Everyone except Emma, apparently. You meet her in a parking garage after midnight. Terrible idea. You know that, she knows it too. But people do terrible things when grief gets reopened. She touches your face. Her hand is warm. You had forgotten how warm living people are. She asks what happened. You tell her you can't explain. She says you owe her. She is right. That is the problem. You tell her some of it, not the feeding, not the donors, not Mara, not the network, just enough to sound insane. She should run. She doesn't. Instead, she cries. Then she hugs you. And for 1 minute, you almost feel human. That minute costs more than you know, because Emma starts meeting you once a week, then twice, always at night, always somewhere empty. She brings coffee she knows you cannot drink. She does it anyway because it gives her hands something to hold. She tells you about her life, her husband, her job, her father's illness, the dog she adopted and then lost. You listen like a ghost haunting someone else's future. Then she asks the question, can you make me like you? No. Easy answer, no. You say it fast. She asks again 2 weeks later. Then again, not because she wants power, not because she wants darkness, because her father is dying, because time is suddenly personal, because you are sitting in front of her looking exactly the way you did 12 years ago, while everyone she loves keeps aging. That is when immortality stops looking like a curse to her and starts looking like theft. You tell Mara, finally. She does not yell. That's worse. She just sits across from you in the closed cinema and says, you've made a witness. You say Emma won't tell anyone. Mara almost smiles. They never think they will. You say you can handle it. No, she says, you can't. The network moves fast. Emma's phone disappears from her apartment. Her laptop is wiped. The parking garage footage vanishes. Her husband gets an anonymous email with screenshots of messages. Not enough to explain, just enough to destroy. You go to Mara, furious. She lets you finish, then she says, you wanted to keep your old life. This is what old life does. It follows you home. Emma calls you from a payphone 3 nights later. You didn't know payphones still existed. Her voice is broken. Her husband left. Her father's in the hospital. She says people came to her apartment. Not the police, not exactly. She asks what you were involved in. You don't answer. Then she says the thing you were afraid she would say. If you don't help me, I'll tell everyone. There it is. Not a threat from a villain, a threat from someone desperate. Much worse. You go to the hospital. Her father is in room 614. Cancer, late stage, machines around the bed, tubes, plastic, the soft mechanical rhythm of medicine keeping a body around after the person has already started leaving. Emma stands beside him. She does not say please. She doesn't have to. You look at the old man. You could do it. You could open your wrist, put your blood in his mouth, pull him back. Maybe. You don't even know if it works on the dying. Mara said never turn anyone. Victor said the same. Everyone said the same. But Emma is watching you like you are the door. And for one stupid second, you want to be good. So you do it. Not enough, just a little. That is what you tell yourself. Just enough to help. Just enough to heal. Just enough to buy time. His eyes open. Not slowly, all at once. His hand grabs your wrist with impossible strength. The heart monitor screams. Emma gasps. You pull away, but he is already changing. Not cleanly, not like you, not like in the stories. His body was too close to death, too damaged, too hungry. He bites the nurse first, then the orderly, then Emma screams. The whole floor turns into alarms, footsteps, and blood. You stop him eventually. You have to. By the time Mara arrives, room 614 looks like an animal got loose inside a hospital. Which, technically, one did. Mara looks at the bodies, then at Emma, then at you. No anger, no surprise, just disappointment. That's why, she says. The cleanup takes 6 hours. Fire alarm, gas leak, corrupted footage, 3 bodies moved, 2 declared missing, 1 old man reduced to ash in the hospital incinerator before sunrise. Emma is taken somewhere you are not allowed to know. You ask if she's alive, nobody answers. That is your punishment, not knowing. After that, the network stopped treating you like a person. Before, you were new, careless, useful maybe. Now, you're a liability. Victor changes the locks on the basement apartment. Your warehouse job disappears. Your accounts freeze. Mara gives you 1 suitcase and a passport with a name you have never heard before. You're being moved. Where? North. How far? Far enough. You say no. Mara looks tired. This is the first time she has ever looked tired. You still think no is a word people like us get to use. A car takes you to a private airfield before dawn. The plane is small, no windows in the back. There's a metal case on the seat beside you. Inside are 6 bottles. Warm, labeled. A note from Victor is tucked under the foam. Enough for the journey, do not improvise. You almost laugh. Even your hunger has paperwork now. The plane takes off as the sky begins to lighten. You sit in the dark compartment and listen to the pilots breathe behind the locked door. 1 heart, then another. Steady, close, annoying. You drink from the first bottle, then the second. You try not to think about Emma. You fail. Years pass after that. Different cities, different names. You become good at leaving. That is the main skill. Not strength, not speed, not immortality. Leaving. Apartments before neighborhoods get curious. Jobs before HR asks for updated identification. Lovers before they ask why your skin is always cold. Friends before they become friends. You learn to keep every relationship shallow enough to abandon. Bartenders, night shift workers, other things that move in the dark. People who don't ask why you never come to brunch. At some point, you stop missing the sun. That scares you more than missing it did. Because grief means something is still attached. Indifference means the string has finally snapped. Decades become slippery, you lose track of music. Politics, slang, the shape of phones, the way people stand in photos. Every generation thinks it invented loneliness. Every generation is wrong. You watch cities replace themselves 1 storefront at a time. The diner becomes a pharmacy. The pharmacy becomes luxury apartments. The luxury apartments become empty investment units owned by people who live somewhere else. Everything changes. You don't. That sounds powerful. It isn't. It is embarrassing after a while, like being the last guest at a party that ended years ago. Then, one night you return to the city where it started. You tell yourself it's practical. Old contacts, old routes, old buildings with useful basements. That is a lie. You go to the bridge, the same bridge, or close enough. They cleaned the canal, added bike lanes, put up warm little lights to make the area feel safe for people walking expensive dogs at night. You stand under the concrete where you woke up all those years ago. No dirt in your mouth this time, no blood on your shirt, no heartbeat in your chest, just the sound of traffic above you and water moving below. A young man walks past the entrance to the underpass, drunk, alone, bleeding slightly from a cut on his hand. He stops when he sees you. "You okay?" he asks. You almost smile, because that was probably the last normal question anyone ever asked you. You can hear his heart. Fast, warm, alive. He steps closer. Bad idea. You tell him to go home. He laughs, says he's fine, says he lives around the corner, says he just needs a cigarette. And there it is, the same sentence, the same doorway, the same stupid little opening the man in the alley used on you. For a moment, you understand the shape of the trap. Not just yours, all of it. The hunger, the secrecy, the rules, the moving, the names, the people turned into supply, the people turned into witnesses, the people turned into mistakes. You used to think you were bitten by a monster. Now you understand something worse. You were recruiting into a system, and systems do not need villains. They just need appetite. The young man is still standing there, waiting. You could let him go. You should let him go. You open your mouth to tell him again. then the hunger moves before you do.